There are invisible forces quietly manipulating your life without you even realizing it. Not every streak of bad luck, prolonged fatigue, or unusual unease is a coincidence. Sometimes, these are clear signs of mystical interference aimed directly at you. In today's video, we will uncover 5 undeniable signs that someone is using mystical powers to negatively affect you, even if you have never believed in such things. What you're about to discover may change how you perceive misfortune, energy, and ways to protect yourself. If you feel that something around you is off and you can't explain it, don't take your eyes off this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and watch until the end so you don't miss any important signs, because knowledge is your first line of defense. This content is shared under fair use for educational purposes and awareness raising, not promoting superstition or inciting fear, but simply giving you a different perspective that you may not have considered before. The first sign, when your energy is drained for no clear reason, an ancient sign of a spiritual attack. Have you ever woken up in the morning feeling more tired than when you went to bed? Not due to lack of sleep, nor work stress, but an invisible exhaustion, as if something is gradually draining your life energy. In the traditions of many ancient cultures, this state is called energy invasion. What's even more frightening is that this is not caused by your body but comes from an external manipulation. Someone is using mystical practices to influence your natural energy flow. Those who have experienced this often describe the feeling as being covered by an invisible fog, difficulty concentrating, emotional disconnection, and sudden anger or despair without clear reasons. Many spiritual researchers call this the energy field cloaking effect, where your soul feels locked inside an unnamed cage. This often happens after a sudden success, a breakthrough in your career, or gaining attention from the community. In other words, your light has inadvertently attracted those who want to extinguish it. A woman once shared with me that after announcing a community project to help the vulnerable, she continuously felt watched, slept restlessly, and the electronic devices at home started acting strangely, flickering lights, cameras automatically recording when no one was there. She thought she was having psychological issues, until she checked the camera and saw shadows appearing and disappearing in the middle of the night. When these signs appear alongside prolonged mental exhaustion, you shouldn't dismiss them as mere coincidence. Unlike ordinary stress, which can be resolved with rest and lifestyle changes, the feeling of energy drain caused by mystical agents has a distinct characteristic. It doesn't lessen even if you change your routines, diet, or even pray. This is because you're not fighting physical fatigue but an invisible force deliberately targeting you. And let me emphasize, not everyone is a target. People with strong personal light, often influencers, changemakers, or simply those who attract attention, are more likely to become targets of energy manipulation forces. And the first sign that you are being targeted is the inexplicable loss of energy. When those haunting symbols begin to repeat, it's no longer a coincidence. It's a warning. Many people have shared with me that they feel as if they are being pulled into a dark dream realm, where time stops and none of the usual rules of reality apply. They wake up drenched in sweat, hearts pounding, and with a deep sense of disorientation, as if they have just returned from a place beyond this world. This is a sign that some force is trying to reach you through your sleep, the only time when you completely lower the barriers of your consciousness and energy. Sleep, which should be the safest space, becomes the fiercest battlefield in the spiritual war. And if you've ever felt your body paralyzed at night, awake but unable to move, trying to scream but unable to make a sound, then you have experienced what many cultures call sleep paralysis. But in this case, sleep paralysis is not just a physiological phenomenon. It is a classic sign that you may be targeted by a deliberate intrusion from a metaphysical force. Do you remember that feeling? When you wake up in the middle of the night and sense someone standing in the room, you don't even need to look, yet you know for sure that presence is watching you. That feeling is not imagination. It is the most primal spiritual intuition of humans, a perception beyond words, beyond logic, simply knowing. And what is most worrying is that mystical forces rarely come alone. Once they have identified a target, often individuals with strong inner light or those approaching a critical turning point, they will try everything to disrupt, delay, or derail that person's path. And do you know what makes the biggest difference between those who are affected and those who overcome? It's not physical strength, nor intelligence, but awareness. Realizing that what you are experiencing is not a strange dream or just stress, but could be a sign of an actual spiritual attack, is the first and most important step to reclaiming control. So, if you are having recurring strange dreams, if you wake up feeling worse than when you went to bed, or if you always sense something is off but can't explain it, don't dismiss it lightly. Write them down. Record every detail. And above all, keep faith in yourself. Because in the darkness, the first light always begins with awareness. Sudden exhaustion after being around a certain person or leaving a particular place is not just ordinary tiredness. It is a mysterious draining of your energy, making you feel as if someone has just sucked the life force out of you. And strangely enough, rest, eating well, or taking vitamins don't seem to change this. This is the third sign, unexplained energy depletion, a strong indication that you might be under attack by some mystical energy or under the influence of a spiritual manipulation cult. Someone once shared with me that after every regular gathering with a close group of friends, she always felt as if she had undergone an invisible surgery. Her heart raced, her limbs weakened, and she felt like crying without knowing why. She didn't understand why a meeting that was supposed to bring joy instead left her feeling as if the last protective layer around her had been stripped away. After recording her emotions and physical state each time she left those gatherings, she noticed a clear pattern. Every time she was near one particular person in the group, she would be strongly drained of energy without explanation. Like energy parasites, some people, whether consciously or unconsciously, can become energy vampires. They drain your life through negative words, strange looks, or a heavy presence, as if you were standing under a dark cloud. This is especially common in cult-like groups where a few central individuals maintain power by manipulating others' energy fields to keep control. One way to protect yourself is to learn how to read the room, that is, listen to your body's sensations when you enter a place or meet someone. Feeling tension in your forehead, a racing heart, or unexplained restlessness are subtle signals that the environment is energetically unsafe. Listen to your body as a spiritual compass. Additionally, setting energetic boundaries is crucial. Before entering challenging spaces, close your eyes and imagine a golden shell of light surrounding you. This is not just an imaginative exercise but a declaration of your power and presence. Unexplained exhaustion should not be ignored. It is a subtle yet powerful signal that you are being manipulated on a deeper level, a level that many are never taught to recognize. And if you are beginning to notice these patterns in your life, it is no coincidence. It is a warning. What makes energy vampirism truly frightening isn't just the feeling of exhaustion, it's how it makes you doubt yourself. When your body is drained, emotions are suffocated, and your will seems to vanish, you start thinking maybe you're weak, overly sensitive, or imagining things. But the truth is, you are being invaded, not by knives or spells like in movies, but through a much more subtle form of manipulation. The invisible manipulation of energy. Energy vampires aren't necessarily toxic in the way society typically defines. They can be loved ones, friends, co-workers, or even disguised healers. Some people drain energy unconsciously, while others, especially within occult groups or disguised cults, do it systematically. They might use objects that once belonged to you, photos, hair, letters, or create energetic links through the internet, something many call etheric cords. These invisible cords make you feel like someone is always watching, always thinking about you, but not in a romantic way, rather in a possessive way. A recognizable sign is that after leaving the presence of such a person, you feel not only tired but empty, as if someone has just scooped out the life inside you. Then, the affected chakras start reflecting this. You find it hard to speak when you want to say something important, throat chakra. You feel powerless. Without control, solar plexus chakra. You fall into emotional emptiness, isolation, or even lose faith in love, heart chakra. One protective method I recommend for those suspecting they are energy drained is to cut the etheric cords every night before sleep. Imagine the energetic cords linking you to people or negative memories, then gently cut them with a sword of light. It can be white, purple, or golden light. Along with that, Place a piece of black obsidian or hematite under your pillow, two crystals well known for protecting personal energy. The most important thing to remember is, you are not crazy. When you sense something is wrong, trust your intuition. In an increasingly hyperconnected world, invasions are no longer limited by physical space. Stay alert, protect yourself, and remember this: your energy is sacred, and no one has the right to take it without your permission. Nothing hurts more than being wounded by those you love. And in some cases, this doesn't happen naturally. Sometimes, relationships are sabotaged by the invisible hand of dark energy, a mystical manipulation aimed directly at the most precious thing, the connection between people. When someone wants to weaken you but cannot attack you directly, they will seek to erode your closest relationships. This often begins very subtly: a small misunderstanding, a vague feeling that someone is changing their attitude toward you, or an unexplainable emotion that you are no longer as welcomed as before. If you suddenly find yourself drifting away from someone once close, or notice conversations becoming tense without clear reasons, pause and check your own energy first. It's very likely that a destructive form of energy is being implanted into that relationship, shaking trust, sowing doubt, and deliberately awakening old wounds. Manipulators of this kind often exploit emotional chakras such as the heart chakra and throat chakra, the centers of love, understanding, and honest communication, to break connections by blocking your emotional expression or distorting and misunderstanding your words. In such cases, protecting your energy is not only a personal act but also an act of safeguarding important relationships. Try imagining a golden thread of light connecting you and that loved one. Then cleanse it each night with white light to remove any dark energy attempting to interfere. Sometimes, direct and sincere conversations are necessary to break the spell, because true energy is always stronger than manipulation. You can also use protective symbols such as the white lotus, the Hamsa hand, or the Nazar eye to surround your relationships with positive light. A simple but effective tip is, before meeting someone, take a deep breath and silently say to yourself, "I keep my light whole. I connect only through love and truth." You will feel the connection strengthened and negative energy losing its hold. Remember, someone intending to manipulate you will always try to isolate you first. But if you maintain trust and genuine connection with those who love you, no force can shake you. Hold your heart steady, and never allow an invisible hand to divide the most sacred thing, human love. Perhaps what wounds us the deepest is not the departure of someone, but the moment they suddenly turn their back on us, coldly, irrationally, leaving our minds unable to find any reasonable explanation. It's not an ordinary quarrel or a difference of opinion. It's a break that happens as quickly as a snapped string, with no warning signs, no chance to mend, leaving you with shattered pieces, confusion, and a deep sense of betrayal. When this happens once, you might chalk it up to coincidence. But when it repeats in a pattern with different people, the same misunderstandings, the same false accusations, the same sudden coldness, you need to be alert and look deeply into the layers of energy operating beneath the surface of your life. This is no longer a random incident but a clear sign of a subtle form of manipulation in the energy field around you, something that can affect perception, distort messages, and trap the emotions of those closest to you. Practitioners of this kind of manipulation often don't need to be physically present. They use powerful intentional thought forms sent into the space around you like ripples spreading out. These thoughts not only affect you but also insert interference into your connection with loved ones, causing you to be constantly misunderstood, blamed, and ultimately isolated. You might recognize this by signs resembling a programming matrix. For example, strangely similar phrases coming from unrelated sources. Changed suspicious looks, calls left unanswered, plans postponed without explanation, all occurring within just a few days. None of them have clear reasons, but they all sense something off about you. That is the silent but strong effect of energy manipulation. To protect yourself, practice the ritual of cutting energy cords every night, especially with relationships that are becoming vague or confusing. Visualize a gentle sword of light cutting unhealthy cords, sending love to that person's soul, separating their true essence from the influenced part. At the same time, reaffirm the truth inside you by writing down the things you know for sure you have done with good intentions. Truth always has its own frequency, and if you hold steady to that frequency, the fog will gradually lift. Don't try to pull back those who have turned their backs due to manipulation. They need time and light to realize what is really happening. As for you, keep walking forward with an honest heart and a strong energy field, because true light can never be permanently obscured. Sometimes, energy interference doesn't come from obvious shocks but seeps into your life like a thin mist, silently diverting your spirit, breaking harmony, and making you feel like you're slipping away from your familiar reality. The signs aren't easy to spot right away, but if you pay close attention, you'll notice them speaking to you in the language of synchronicity and microdisruptions. That's when strange number sequences begin to appear. 444, 1111, 888, repeating on clocks, license plates, receipts, even in dreams. They are not just coincidences. They are signals from the energy layers trying to catch your attention or reprogram your frequency of perception. When you start seeing these repeating patterns frequently and they come with feelings of unease, inexplicable fatigue, or a series of unexplained mishaps, it's time to pause and check the energy field around you. Because sometimes what's at work is not fate, but a subconscious program intentionally implanted. It causes you to doubt yourself, delay action, withdraw from positive relationships, and gradually lose the center of gravity inside you. Have you ever noticed that when you are about to make an important decision, a startup project, a healing journey, or a necessary conversation to save a relationship, suddenly your electronic devices malfunction in strange ways? The computer freezes, the phone shuts down even though the battery is full, the internet disconnects at a crucial moment? If this happens once, consider it a coincidence. But if it repeats during key moments in your life, it's a targeted energy interference pattern. When the energy field is disturbed or attacked, your living environment is the first mirror to reflect it. Rooms once full of life become unusually silent. The air feels thick. The light seems dimmer even though the lights are still on. You may feel like you're being watched, even though no one is around. These feelings, though hard to rationalize, are warning signals from your body's innate energy sensing system, designed since ancient times to detect invisible danger. Recognizing this is not to live in fear but to become an active energy navigator. Keep your space clean with sound, bells, chanting, or high-frequency music. Set a clear intention each morning that only energies with the highest good may approach me today. And when you notice strange repeated signals, instead of fear, treat them as encrypted messages, inviting you to return to your intuition, cleanse your energy, and reclaim your power over your life. Because ultimately, no program is stronger than an awakened will. There are things in life that cannot be seen with the naked eye but can be clearly felt by the heart and body. That's when the energy around you begins to fluctuate in unusual ways. Perhaps one of the most honest indicators of negative energy isn't from technology or logical analysis, but from the silent creatures living with you every day. A cat growling at the darkness in the corner of the room. A dog whimpering, trying to avoid a familiar path. Or birds fluttering wildly for no apparent reason. These reactions aren't meaningless. They are primal responses to changes in energy layers that modern humans have largely lost the ability to sense. When you start to notice unusual behavior from your pets, don't be quick to ignore it. Observe, listen, and trust your own feelings when you are in that space. Sometimes your heart beats faster for no obvious reason. An invisible pressure weighs on your chest when you enter a room. A fleeting headache occurs whenever you approach a certain area. This is no coincidence. Your body is trying to tell you, something is not right here. To check, you need nothing but yourself. Close your eyes in that room, relax, and feel. Don't analyze. Just feel. Does the space give you a sense of peace or heaviness? Is there something pulling you away from yourself or making you strangely unfocused? The answer usually lies in what you feel but cannot explain. If you confirm that the energy there is disturbed, don't panic. There are simple but powerful ways to cleanse energy and reset your personal boundaries. Sound is a magical remedy. The ringing of bells, the sound of meditation bowls, or even deliberate clapping all help break up stagnant energy flow. Sea salt, herbal smoke, and strong intention are ancient tools that remain surprisingly effective. You don't need to believe in the ritual. Simply being present with the intention to purify is enough to create change. The most important thing isn't the technique you choose, but the proactive reclaiming of your right to master your life energy. When you spend time meditating, creating art, walking under the trees, or simply breathing mindfully, you strengthen your personal energy field, which becomes a natural shield protecting you from subtle interference. Because awareness is light. And once you begin to see what was once only a vague feeling, you are not only protecting yourself, you are awakening an ancient and powerful ability within you, the ability to live consciously in an unseen world. There is a profound truth that few of us dare to admit. Knowledge, no matter how valuable if not transformed into action, remains lifeless information. On the journey of discovering signs of negative energy and its deep impact on life, it is proactive effort that becomes the decisive factor helping you escape those invisible traps. Mysterious misfortunes, endless sleepless nights, inexplicable energy drain, or fractures in close relationships can all be warnings from the spiritual realm. But above all, you need to learn to listen to your intuition, the strongest guide in life. Intuition is not something vague or frivolous. It is the deep voice of the subconscious, where thousands of signals are processed that the conscious mind often misses. When something makes you feel off, don't ignore or deny it. This is a subtle but powerful warning. You are being reminded that not everything around you is random, but that there are streams of energy quietly influencing your mental, physical, and emotional state. The protective strategies you have learned are not isolated tricks but work as a comprehensive defense system. Shielding your personal energy, cleansing your living space with sound, salt, or herbal smoke, all play essential roles in building a strong barrier against negative influences. But the key lies in consistency. Occasional actions produce weak results, like a broom sweeping dust only to have it return. You must treat maintaining positive energy as an unbreakable habit, a part of your daily life. Only then will your defense system truly be strong, flexible, and capable of resisting external intrusions. When the signs begin to spiral out of control and you feel stuck facing inexplicable effects, don't hesitate to seek help from experienced spiritual practitioners. But choose wisely. Look for those with integrity, ethical practice, and most importantly, who focus on empowerment rather than spreading fear. Those who truly understand will help you raise awareness, strengthen your energy boundaries, and clarify what you have yet to see. They are not rulers of your energy but companions who help you reclaim your obscured personal power. The important thing to remember is that no external force can access your energy without permission, whether conscious or unconscious. Therefore, strengthening your boundaries is not just defense but reclaiming control, regaining sovereignty over your life energy. Treat every cleansing, every moment of meditation, every walk in nature, and every creative act as bricks building your impregnable fortress. Now that you have recognized the signs, understood their origins, and how to guard against them, the choice is yours. Will you continue living in unconscious weakness, pretending those influences don't exist? Or will you rise with new strength, using this knowledge and awareness to protect yourself and your loved ones? This is not only a decision but also a declaration. You are no longer passive in the face of surrounding energy. You are the master of the game, the creator of light within darkness. Right now, a recommended video appears on your screen, algorithmically selected just for you based on what you've absorbed today. This is the natural next step in your journey of protection and empowerment. Click on it, continue exploring, and build a solid spiritual defense system for yourself. Your future self will thank you for the wisdom you gather day by day. A journey not just to survive but truly thrive in this ever-changing world.